Good morning, everyone. And if this is the first time that you're watching our lesson, I am attorney Marichel Rala Borracho, and I took my oath as a lawyer back in May 2014. And I am in the legal practice for almost 8 years, and I am a litigator based in Cebu. Actually, the project LexClassroom is totally separate from my teaching job in the University of Cebu School of Law and also my legal practice. And the project is aimed to simplify the complexity of the law, legal principles, and concepts to help law students, bar reviewees, new lawyers, and even practitioners, and especially the general public, so that no one will be ignorant about the law, especially that our lives is governed by laws. Now, today's lesson actually is a continuation of the last, which is about laws affecting currencies. Now, our lesson for today will revolve around these three major topics: legal tender, characteristics of a currency, and international reserve. Now, we are basing our lesson and even the previous one on RA or Republic Act 265. Now, this is the old law. I just want to emphasize that. And there's a new and more current law on this, but we will tackle that in the next lesson. Now, Section 54 of RA 265 talks about the legal tender power. Now, it states there that all notes and coins issued by the central bank, now the BSP or the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, fully guaranteed by the government of the Republic of the Philippines, is legal tender for all debts, both public and private. You need to emphasize, or you need to remember the word fully, as I already made an underscoring on that. We will explain in a while why there's that word fully guaranteed. Now, I would advise that as you are watching this video lesson, you look at the bills or the money that you have, like the 50 peso bill, 100, 200, 1,000, and 500. You will find out later that these notes, banknotes, actually have this significant statement: guaranteed, fully guaranteed by the government of the Republic of the Philippines. Now, what's really the meaning of legal tender power? According to an issuance of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, which I found from its online website or its website, I'm showing to you the source, the specific source. Now, legal tender power means that the currency is offered in payment of a debt, public or private, the same must be accepted. So, when you say legal tender, you can actually enforce or force the other person to accept such payment, whether it could be public or private, meaning that money or currency is respected, such that other persons must rely on the value as shown in the note itself. Now, is it limited? Meaning the legal tender power is limited? The general rule is no, except on coins. On banknotes, we have no problem with that. According to the Bangko Sentral Circular Number 537 Series of 2008, for 1 peso, 5 peso, and 10 peso coin, actually there's no bill now, you will have to consider it as legal tender to be accepted by other people. It should only reach up to 1,000 pesos. So anything beyond that, divided or divisible by 1, 5, and 10 peso coins, if it exceeds 1,000 pesos, the other person has the right to refuse payment, because its power is again limited only up to the value or amount of 1,000 pesos. Now, what about the 1 centavo? the 5 centavos, the 10 centavos, and the 25 centavos, these are coins, right? It can only be accepted if it reaches its value at 100 pesos. Meaning, what if you are given by a person 100 pesos divisible by 25 centavos? Can you refuse, or can that person refuse payment? What's the meaning of that? No, because up to that extent, it is still considered by law as powerful. What if the other person will pay you 300 pesos in debt in 25 centavo coin? Everything, like a handful of it. Can you refuse? Yes, you can refuse based on this BSP Circular number 537 series of 2008. So, simply, that payment, if not in compliance with this circular, can be refused because it will be considered as no value at all. So you have to remember, especially if you are the creditor. Now, if not a legal tender, what would be the consequences? You have to remember that this rule of the BSP circular must be correlated with a relevant or pertinent provision found in the new Civil Code. Article 1249, first paragraph of the new Civil Code. It says, the payment in money shall be made in the currency stipulated. Meaning, if you have a loan to be paid, you have to take note that in the agreement itself, it should be agreed, meaning stipulated or agreed. In what currency? Will it be in Philippine peso, dollar, or euro? You have to agree on that. And if it is not possible to deliver such currency, what if you agreed in dollars to be paid, like 1 million pesos, but to be paid later in dollars equivalent to 1 million pesos? Then in the currency which is legal tender in the Philippines. So what is the legal tender in the Philippines? The Philippine peso. And you have to take note again that BSP circular relating to the power of the coins. Will it be considered as a legal tender or not? Now, another worthy of consideration related to the power of legal tender. In one case, the Supreme Court in Tibahia versus Court of Appeals decided back in June 4, 1994. I have not seen any decision that overruled or reversed this ruling of the Supreme Court. But if and when you know a reversal of this jurisprudence, you can comment on this post, or you can send a message to one of our to our Facebook site, or our YouTube channel, or even to our website, because the Lex team is willing and able to cater your comments and suggestions. Now, going back, in this Tibahia case, the issue is whether or not payment by means of check, even by cashier's check, is considered payment in legal tender as required by law. If you want a very thorough understanding of checks or other negotiable instruments, you can search in our website the lessons, three lessons, I can remember that relates only to negotiable instruments and checks. You will have better understanding. Now, a cashier's check is considered as money already, like cash in business practice. But the Supreme Court in this case emphasized that a check, whether a manager's check or an ordinary check, is not legal tender, and an offer of a check in payment of a debt is not a valid tender of payment and may be refused receipt by the obligee or creditor. So if and when you expected that cash will be given to you as a payment of a loan by your debtor and you are the creditor, you have to remember that even if that debtor will offer you manager's check or an ordinary check, you can argue that, I'm not going to accept this because this is not what we agreed, and it is not even considered under our case law or as declared by the Supreme Court that this is not a valid tender of payment. Okay? You have to remember this. Now, what is the characteristic of a currency? Since we've been talking about currencies. Now, actually, I'm doing this video while waiting for my Intro to Law class to start. I still have 10 minutes, okay? We'll make use of that 10 minutes. Now, the currency, you look at the bills that you are, let's say the 100 peso bill that you have, or the banknotes. That's actually the more accurate word for that. The currency shall state that they are liabilities of the central bank, now the BSP, and are fully guaranteed by the government of the Republic of the Philippines. It is better for you to read what's written on the notes now if you are watching this video and holding your, I just don't have my notes here. Now, shall bear the signatures in facsimile of the President of the Philippines. You always have the signature of the President of the Philippines and the Governor of the Central Bank, again, now the BSP. So these two signatories are very important because it's required under our law. Now, other characteristics shall be determined by the Monetary Board. Our central bank, or the BSP, has a monetary board, but we will not tackle here the composition of the monetary board. Now, the other characteristics that may be decided by the monetary board or imposed or declared to be part of that currency shall consider these things: weight, fineness, designs. Since we have new banknotes, right? It's been launched recently. Now, even the 200 peso bill. So, security features. Now, windowed security thread. If you look at your coins now, they even say that it's the nerve or ugat. That's what the usual Cebuano term for that. They will always find that line, like from the top to the bottom of the notes. Now, especially, you correlate that with optical variable ink. If you're going to change the angle of the notes, it will change also its color. You could have yellow, green, or shades of red or purple. And tactile marks. So you have to consider that, and you have to remember also that these features are decided by the Monetary Board. Now, what is an international reserve? I remember I argued for the JESUP competition in the national rounds, and one of the issues to be argued upon in that JESUP competition was the reserve bank of one of the applicant state. I remember the state Alferna, and it has a reserved account in Bank of Lando, which is the central bank of Rhodesia, because it's Alferna versus Rhodesia. So I fully remember that because I mooted, or meaning I argued for the moot court competition. Now, the international reserve is maintained by the governments or the states in order to maintain the international stability and convertibility of the Philippine peso. Although this is specifically stated, this is in our law, in RA 265, but it is actually the purpose of other countries or states. It's more of the financial stability, like economic stability. Now, it is maintained to meet all or any foreseeable net demands on the bank for foreign currency, since every day in trading, business activities, there will always be exchanges. If you go to banks, you will always see the currencies, the exchanges, the buying and selling. If you don't have any economic backgrounds or political science background, or even commerce background, like, you will really have difficulty understanding what's on the board of the bank. Now, it is the Monetary Board that judges the adequacy of the international reserve. So it is very important for the Monetary Board to be abreast or to be updated of what's the current situation of our international reserve. So this is more of the fiscal matters of statehood. Now, what does it compose, our international reserve? The gold So gold is considered as an international reserve. And in fact, I know some people who invest in gold. Instead of buying stocks or cryptocurrencies, they buy gold. Now, aside from gold, assets in foreign currencies. And these assets in foreign currencies could be documents and instruments, demand and time deposits in central banks, treasuries, and commercial banks abroad. So there are time deposits. So you will deposit this account, and for a particular period of time, after the lapse of that period, it can be taken or it can be withdrawn by the depositor. Aside from this, foreign currency or foreign government securities with maturities not exceeding 5 years. So there's a limitation for it to be considered as an international reserve. And foreign notes and coins. So the one in circulation, that can still also be considered as part of our international reserve. But I don't know the specifics of that, as how the monetary board will declare that this is adequate. Now, for the next lesson, we will tackle a more recent law which talks about the new Central Bank Act and its pertinent provisions. We will just tackle the pertinent ones, and the most current one would be Republic Act 11211. It is the law that amends, I put that amending, there should be an arrow on top going up, that amends RA 7653. Okay, I thank you for your focus and attention as you listen to this video. Now, if you have suggestions to what topic will be covered by our future lessons, or there are laws or legal principles and concepts that you want to be discussed, clarified, and simplified, we would be happy to help you out. And you can tell us by commenting on our Facebook post or sending us a message in our Facebook page. And I thank again those people who liked and support our Facebook page, and even to our YouTube account. You can comment on that, and also on our website. Actually, I've been doing the editing so that lessons there, because there are users or our subscribers who have auditory difficulties, so they can just read the articles there. It's a more simplified one, and I thank you for your interest and learning and knowing the law. And if you know some people who might need this lesson, you can share it to them actually, and they would surely appreciate it. And I know some, they even sent me messages, even my students, who said that they were able to understand the legal concept through the lessons. And this is enough for us to continue this project and to continue our commitment. Thank you so much, and look forward to our quiz tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you.